Okay, with your car jacked up, wheels off, get your wheels turned to the side that you're working on first, so in this case the right hand side. Remove your brake reservoir cap, should be something a bit like that. Be careful not to drip that on your paintwork, it'll rot your paint. Usually just sit it there. Alright, next step is we want to unclip our brake line. It's sort of a bit of a twist and pull motion. Take it off that clip right there. Next we want to undo our brake caliper mount, which is a bit difficult to see, but we've got that bolt there, which is your top bolt, which also holds your brake line clip, and then there's your bottom bolt there for your caliper mount. We want to undo them, they're 15mm head. Pretty simple. They're going to be a bit tight, might need to double up the spanner or use a larger spanner. So I've loosened these a little bit already. Simply just undo these bolts here. Same to with this one here. Like so. Okay, with our two caliper mount bolts undone, just place them in there for now. Simply pull the caliper off, and you can flip it around and usually get it to tuck in underneath the chassis rail there, and it'll sit there fine. Pull your disc rotor off, and that's it, disassembled. Basically, putting it back together is just the reverse of what we've done there. So you simply put your disc rotor back on. I usually use a wheel nut to hold the disc rotor on so it's not wobbling around. And we want to start changing our pads. Righty, so here's our caliper. Pads are just started to fall out of this one anyway. Pads are actually getting a little bit low on this car. I might have to change this real soon. Alright, so remove your pads out of your caliper. Rather difficult to do single-handedly. And then we want to push these two pistons back into the calipers in order to fit the new pads. Otherwise they simply won't fit over the disc rotor here. In order to do that, we need to remove the caliper slide or caliper mount off of your caliper simply by pulling it away and off. As you can see, those slides are nicely greased up, but we might shove a little bit more grease on them just to make sure they don't seize up in the future. To push these pistons back in, we're going to use a G-clamp and one of the old pads. Simply grab the pad, set it in there for the time being like so, and we want to get our G-clamp. So yeah, set up our G-clamp like so, and just slowly wind that in until the pistons go all the way back in. Nice and slowly. As you can see, the pad's cocked a little bit, so we might have to swap the G-clamp over to the opposite piston and just work it in there slowly. And as you do that, your brake fluid will start pushing back into your reservoir here. You have to be careful sometimes because it can overflow and make a bit of a mess, in which case once you put the cap back on, pour a bit of water over the mess and it should dilute the brake fluid so it doesn't rot out your paint. So I'll switch the G-clamp over onto the opposite piston. We'll just slowly wind this in. It'll start to force the opposite piston out again, but it'll eventually work its way in. You just keep doing this until they're both all the way home. Like so. They're pretty much all the way in now. Like that. So now you can see the pistons are fully retracted into the caliper, and we can now fit new pads to the brakes and refit it up. Reassembly is rather easy. Want to make sure that our pad anti-squeal shims are still in place. That's these here. Here they just sort of clip in there. Make sure they haven't come out, fallen out, whatnot. And we want to refit our caliper mount bracket back onto our caliper, like so. And you just slide straight in, push it in a little bit. Alrighty, that's in. We want to fit our pads. Like I said, we'll be fitting inside pad first. It's pretty simple. It just locates in there, and in there. Once we get it to fit, there we go. Just make sure that's pushed all the way in, hard against the caliper. Get our outer one, same process. We just want to slot him in. It's a little hard to do single-handedly. Just like that. Now they're clipped in, caliper's ready to go back on. Get our caliper, make sure it's not twisted up. And just slide on over the disc rotor like so. Get our bolts. I usually start with the bottom bolt first. It's a matter of wiggling around till you get the right spot. There we go. Get him started. And grab our second one with our clip for our brake hose. Slide him in. We want to get located and wind him in as well. Now I think the torque for these is around about 80 foot-pounds, or 80 newton meters I should say, but just do it up firm, kind of like what you do up a wheel nut too, maybe just a touch less. And you're supposed to use Loctite on the bolts so they don't come undone. Comes in a bottle similar to this here. This is retaining compound, but virtually the same stuff. So we're just going to make sure our caliper mount bolts are done up tight. Yeah, that's enough. This one here needs a little bit more. Yep, that'll do it. And then What we want to do is clip our brake line back in on its clip. Once again, it's just a twist and push it back in there. And then it's basically turn the wheel straight again and refit the wheel, do the opposite side. And once you've fitted up the brakes, you want to make sure that brake pedal is firm. So we'll start her up, turn the steering wheel straight. We're just going to pump the brake pedal a few times, just nice and slowly. Till we got it firm, and that'll basically just reseat our brake pads against our disc rotor, take up any slack that was in the caliper. And that's it done. Undo our little nut holding our caliper on. And we're right to refit the other wheel. Of course, refit the lake fluid reservoir cap, like so, and we're done here.